What's it like to be only 3 meters tall? Because he was so small, he was often bullied by the kids. They called him the brother of the 7 dwarfs. He was always whispered about when he was shopping, and he was always ignored at the checkout. The cashier didn't see him because he was too short. Faye had a tall friend who was his only warmth in the city. They run a train teen shop. Henry runs the shop. Faye was in charge of after-sales assembly. One day, the soldier on the table suddenly collapsed. Then there was a loud bang behind him. A longtime friend lost his life. Henry left Faye an inheritance, a piece of land in New Jersey. With his only hope gone, Faye was ready to leave this lonely place. Instead of taking the train, he traveled along the tracks. After all these years, Faye had had enough of people looking at him differently. After a long day's journey, Faye came across Henry's legacy, an abandoned stagecoach station by the railway. He unlocked the old door and uncovered the dusty furniture. Although the house is a bit dilapidated, this is his home from now on. When he went out the next day, Faye found a food truck parked in front of the door. He ordered a cup of coffee and asked the owner if there was a convenience store nearby. Joe is a chatty guy who wants to make friends with Faye, but it's clear that Faye is not the type of person who is keen on socializing. On the way to the convenience store, a female driver accidentally drops her glasses. The car starts to crash uncontrollably into the man. Luckily, Faye wasn't hurt, so it wasn't going to hold the woman responsible. The woman offered him a lift, but Faye refused. The woman said she was sorry. The shopkeeper noticed a new gadget in the shop. She hurriedly picked up the camera at the side, gently asked him to turn around, and then took a picture. Faye was used to this. The woman came to Joe's food cart and ordered a cup of coffee out of habit. She learned from Joe that the little man lived at the front stagecoach station. Faye bought some necessities and was walking back leisurely. When a familiar car came up ahead, Faye had a bad feeling about it. Not surprisingly, the woman spilled her coffee. The car lost control again and crashed into Faye. The woman rushed out of the car and kept saying sorry. Faye asked her not to come closer. The woman kept explaining to Faye, but Faye was speechless. The woman offered Faye a lift, but Faye refused again. Joe invites Faye for a drink when he sees him return, but Faye refuses. Joe offers to run with him again, but Faye also refuses. In the face of this strange town, he always refused out of habit. At night, there was a knock on the door. Faye was puzzled as to who would knock at such a late hour. He opened the door and saw that it was the lady driver from the daytime. She says you're safe without a car this time. She brings a bottle of wine and congratulates Faye on his new home and apologizes for what happened during the day. The two of them chat over a bottle of wine. Faye learned that the woman's name was Olivia and that she had lost her son 2 years ago. Faye could sense that she was also lonely. The next morning, the woman wakes up from the couch and realizes that the man is not there. She plans to leave quietly. However, Joe sees her from outside the house. Joe greeted her. She rushes off. Faye slept in the bathtub all night. Sore and aching, he was about to clean up when there was a knock on the door. It was Joe who came to say hello. Joe brought him a cup of coffee and wanted to ask him for relationship tips. He's been here for over a month, but he can't get a word in edgeways with Olivia. But Faye stayed over after less than a day. He thinks there's something unusual about Faye. That's when the phone rings and Joe finds the phone Olivia left behind. He hands it to Faye and crosses his legs, waiting to see what Faye would do. But then the food truck comes in and Joe has to leave early. Joe gets up and tells the people outside to wait, then turns around and compliments Faye on her performance. Faye looks at him blankly and then closes the door behind her. Faye finds Olivia's house and leaves the phone on a chair outside the door. He doesn't choose to go in and strike up a conversation, but leaves decisively. He went to the town library and tried to borrow a few books, but his short stature startled the caretaker. The other men hastily apologized for his rudeness. Faye made his intentions clear, but it didn't have a library card. Then Olivia's voice came and said she could lend it to him. Unsurprisingly, Faye rejects her offer once again and hurries out of the house. But when he gets home, he finds the book he wanted to borrow left on his doorstep. Joe explains that Olivia left it on his doorstep and taunts him for being a traitor. Olivia's behavior convinced Joe that Faye was a master of romance. After that, Joe would greet him every day at work and say goodbye to him after work, which Faye was puzzled by. What will happen to Faye and Joe afterwards? Will Olivia and Faye's relationship develop further? We'll find out in the next video. I'm BullDog Movie. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.